Hey everyone, I'm Harlan Gatlin and I'm a talent manager here at ClearVoice, and I want to welcome you all to our interview series where we get a glimpse behind the curtain at some of the fantastic writers that contribute to our team. Joining me today is Jenna-Lea Kelland. So to kick things off, Jen, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Live in Cape Town in South Africa. I have a family with two very busy kids. They are 5 and 8. Yeah, I love being outdoors, swimming in the ocean, even in winter when it's freezing. Yeah, I just love connecting and meeting people. I also love showing people Cape Town. So if anyone's ever in Cape Town, then like this place is amazing. I'll be your tour guide.
I had a chance to, or I had an opportunity when I was in college to visit South Africa, and our trip got canceled like 2 weeks before. So I want to
Oh.
come back at some point, or make the trip at some point. So yeah, that would be incredible. So kind of jumping into these questions here, what got you into the world of content marketing?
So in my early 20s, I had studied graphic design and photography. I was deciding not to pursue that career, but looking for something else and started thinking about working in the magazine industry. I managed to get a job with the magazine. That's a national magazine in South Africa. And I was well trained by the managing editor, and I was her assistant, but then also the sub editor. I got very familiar with content creation, editing, working with the designers, being part of a team, and really just learned how content creation is a team effort. That it's everyone bringing their skills, everyone bouncing off each other, making it work, giving the clients what they need to have. So that is really something I've carried throughout my career, which is now like going over a decade.
That's amazing. Over a decade of experience, I'm sure it's like flown by. It's probably even hard to imagine that it's been a whole decade. That's usually how that works. You mentioned collaboration. I think that's often an overlooked part of success in content marketing.
Yeah.
What do you feel like successful, really strong collaboration looks like?
For me, it's a big part of just communication. I feel like that's something in every part of your life, in relationships, in work. Like nothing's gonna work unless you communicate and communicate well and clearly, and everyone knows where they stand, and everyone's doing their part that they need to do. So if you're bringing everything you can to the table and you pulling your weight and you're taking initiative and you doing above and beyond, and you're communicating with people when you're needing them to step up, and you take the constructive criticism when they need you to step up. That's the collaboration at work.
Absolutely. So kind of three elements there that are crucial, right? Knowing your role, communication, and then constructive criticism. And I think that the latter of those, constructive criticism, is often overlooked. What does quality feedback look like to you, and how important is being able to take feedback and also provide constructive feedback?
Well, I remember there was a webinar that ClearVoice actually hosted where we were taught on like how to provide feedback to writers when we are editing a piece that comes with a goal. So it's not just correcting something or saying, "Hey, you messed up here." It's it's offering an opportunity for people to step up and learn and being part of the solution. Say like, how can we do this better? How can we word this better for the clients? How can we incorporate their tone? How can we break this up so it's more readable? So I think that the idea with constructive criticism is that it's coming to say, what can we do to solve the problem? What can we do to fix this thing that maybe you're not getting right? Like, what do you need from the team to make it easier for you to reach that goal? And how can we do it so that it's better for everybody and better for the product and the client?
Awesome. Thank you so much for kind of speaking on feedback. I think that's such an important part of your role, our role in this industry, to making sure that we're getting a great product at the end. How do you stay updated with some of the latest trends and developments in the industries you're working with?
You need to surround yourself with the input that you need, right? So for me, it comes quite naturally. If you're working on a client on a specific topic, you're researching it a lot, and that's naturally going to leak into your targeted ads. They've seen whoever they are, me researching this topic because I've been writing for it, and now it's here in front of me to see articles on LinkedIn about content creation, about marketing, and clicking on those to read it. Even if I think I know it all, there might be a point that just reminds me or about how to write creatively or how to write a good conclusion or how to write a good heading. And it's those little things where it's constantly being teachable and being able to then like be a student in your realm and surrounding yourself with input. And as you move from different clients and you research new topics for different clients, that input will be fed to you again because Google hears us. Those articles tend to come our way, and being able to read it even when we off the clock and not working.
So you mentioned how important research is and staying up to date with latest trends. Well, Jen, we did some deep dive into some of the projects that you've worked on and your background, and we're so excited to kind of jump into these more personable questions here. So, from pet health concerns to CBD products, what common pet owner practices have been changing for the better today?
It was kind of those two topics combined. So it was CBD products for pets that I wrote about for over a year and a half. I think what would be interesting to say about that question though is because I'm in South Africa, I predominantly write for a US audience. Sometimes it's also seeing those cultural changes because in South Africa, you'll have those pet owners who are a little bit more caring, and then you have pet owners who are like our parents were, where the dog's just there in the yard doing its job, like barking at the neighbors. So it is in writing, like you do need to get to know the audience, especially people who are reading pet sites. They are the owners who want the CBD products for their pets, who want to buy little boots when it's snowing for their dog. They want to buy like the calming vest when when their fur baby is anxious. And so it's really is like becoming as obsessed or caring as your audience is, even if that's not something that comes naturally to you as a writer.
So you mentioned, especially with pet ownership, adapting to a U.S. audience when you're living in South Africa can be really challenging. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, how do you go through that process of adapting to your audience, especially in this space?
I think because most of my working day is taken up with writing for a US audience, it's become second nature to me. So when I'm writing anything in South Africa, I still want to use the US spelling because it looks right to me now. Like I've been doing it for so long, like that still looks right, even though part of me and my history and my education has been like, no, it needs to be OU and you need to change it. But yeah, it's become natural and I've become used to it. And it is reading American based content where I do get familiar with the wording and I know how to write. Yeah, I've figured out what words to use that aren't going to be foreign to my audience.
Okay, so to start wrapping things up here, as someone who has found so much success in your freelancing career, like you said, it's spanned over a decade now, what advice would you give to a new freelancer who is looking to find success and do this full time?
I think it's words that I've used before, where it's to be curious, ask questions, be willing to learn, and write content that's relevant. Even with my husband, who's new to writing and editing, he's asked me for a lot of advice. And my big thing is like, don't make things wordy. Readers want things that make sense, that look like biteable chunks of content. You don't want things that are super like flowing too long sentences. You want things that are to the point. So my style of writing and editing is often to make things very digestible and readable and relatable and easy for the readers and the audience to grasp. And it just feels like they're talking to a friend.
Absolutely. Well, we've equipped our audience with how to start their freelancing career. So with that, Jen, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to be back with more interviews with our dynamic writers and industry leaders. And to learn more about our amazing content specialists, visit clearvoice.com.